Hello, everybody. It's Mark here. How are you? How are you doing? Um, just letting you know I am getting started for another AIMBOT. This week's AIMBOT, um, we're going to be going onto Reddit once again and seeing who is right, who is wrong, who has done well, who is moral, who is not moral. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, um, this today, I do want to introduce something, and I tell you what, I'm going to check on my sound just quickly because I sort of have a notification coming up, and I've been having problems, um, having some sound issues now and again. So bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to check that everything is running okay and running reasonably, which it seems to be, which is good. So I'm just going to get chat all organized because I am professional and obviously have everything, worked out ahead of time, like you do, like you absolutely do. So how is everybody today? I'm good. I'm good. I had I don't know if you know, I had a run in with Kent Hovind. Look, I sort of said I'm not going to debate Kent Hovind anymore because A, he's a terrible person. B, he's been convicted of sort of domestic violence, and I don't want to give him my time. Saw him talking absolute garbage in Praise I Am's channel, and I couldn't resist. I went back on my word, dropped in, and gave him the hardest time, which was just, I got to admit, it was really fun giving him a hard time, because he sort of says all kinds of stuff and, never backs it up with anything. So I found that incredibly fun. I found it insanely fun, to be honest with you, because everything he says is just sort of assertions and, oh, but look at the Bible kind of thing. No one cares. Like, seriously, Ken. No, nobody cares about your Bible beliefs, mate. No one cares. No one cares. Like, they're just assertions that you're saying, hey, my favorite book backs it up. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing to anybody. Doesn't matter. But today, I would like to sort of talk about So I'm from Australia, and in Australia at the moment, there's a big the right wing in Australia, who are definitely the small minority, are sort of going for the LGBTQI population kind of thing. Um, and and This happened on, and I'll share my screen so I can show what's going on. Yep. So this is 30 people marching down in the middle of sort of King Street, which is a sort of famous LGBTQI area in Sydney, in Australia. They're marching down and reciting the Lord's Prayer kind of thing. You can see here that's the police sort of thing protecting them, for if if people decide that they don't like them, which a lot of people didn't like them, you know. I did have some footage of this though. It's kind of I'll see if I can find the footage. I think Lynn sent it to me. My wife did send it to me. Um, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so these are the idiots that are doing this kind of thing. It's apparently an anti-LGBTQI, and I'm really sorry if this is triggering, but you know, you can hear them chanting their little idiot thing and doing this praying and chanting. Yeah, so such fine, upstanding citizens. Yeah, and apparently they're part of a group called Christian Lives Matter. So that shows you just about how nice they are. Um, just terrible, like just terrible. But on the plus side, there was only 30 of them. Like it's just a bunch of idiots thinking that they can, they're going to recite the Lord's Prayer and you know, really stupid stuff. Really, really stupid stuff. But there's currently this thing, and this is something I want to show you. It's like Sky News. Now, if you don't know what Sky News, it's basically Australian Fox News. Yes, we have a Fox News as well. We can't hear the browser audio. That's yeah. I was intending. Thank you for sharing that. I was pretty sure. Uh, you know what? Let me get it up in Chrome. It's probably because it's Firefox that it's doing that. That's probably why. Yeah, let me try this. And this is sort of the Australian version of Fox News. Like they're getting all upset.
That people insult Christians in this country was there for everyone to see.
Can you guys hear that? Beansy, can you hear that? Can you give me a quick update?
Last night on the project on Channel 10, a comedian you've never heard of who's doing his best to shock everyone, decided to make a particularly offensive joke. One that,
Really?
of course, was about Christians.
Oh, thanks, Soups.
I get a
Thanks,
whole
Stu.
bunch on TikTok coming at me from a religious angle, right? Which I think is hilarious because queer people, LGBTQIA+, predate any idea of God. We're present in the animal kingdom.
Thanks,
If you go prior to the Cambrian explosion, I'm sure there were two amoebas listening to Lady Gaga doing poppers and banging away. So I think it's hilarious when someone messages me and says, you have to accept Jesus' love or you will burn in hell. Because I love Jesus. I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more.
Now, of course, all of this is because he wants to bring up taboo subjects. You see, he's...
No, that's a joke. It's a joke and it's funny. It's hilarious. Yeah, hey AJ and Big Bad Mama. What a beautiful makeup. Yeah, absolutely. They have amazing makeup, amazing, and outfit. Yeah, absolutely.
brave for what he says.
But I think there's something really interesting about working in filth and working in taboo subjects, and it lets the audience decide what's really offensive, the language you're using or the topics you're addressing. And that's a really interesting boundary to tread. It's a line to tread, if not snort.
Yeah, so basically he's saying that like when you're pointing out inequities and inequalities and these horrible things, like basically the example that's being used is that somebody's messaged him saying, hey, you're gonna burn in hell for simply being gay. That's what he's saying, right? That's essentially what he's saying. You're gonna burn in hell. And you're more upset at the joke he makes about that than you are about the sentiment of threatening this person kind of thing. So what he's saying is that what I guess that he's pointing out that when you make a joke that's in bad taste, why are you more angry about the joke than about the subject you're making it about? And this guy just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
Well, let's see if this brave comedian that no doubt we'll hear about for the next 20 years because people were offended by what he said about their Lord or their prophet. Let's see what his reaction would be, and to his bravery, if he decides to do just a few words about Muhammad. Maybe a costume or two. See what the reaction would be.
Yeah, so no one's saying that's right either. That's the thing. Like, you're basically going, oh, but you would be in much more trouble if you are if you have a joke about Muhammad, like Islam would treat you worse. That doesn't make what you're doing right. That doesn't make that's just whataboutism.
Now, if he was protested against, I would defend him. If he was subject to violence, I would defend him. Both would be completely unacceptable. Just as taunting people for a belief you don't share is not brave, it's cowardly. Because the true bravery is everyone's a target. But when you choose to pick your targets and go for the soft ones because they won't riot in the streets, because they won't turn violent, that's not brave at all. For their part, Channel 10 actually said sorry tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know why. What he was saying is that he made this joke to somebody that was saying that he would burn in hell. He was basically threatened with eternal torture, and he made a joke to basically show them that he's not afraid of them. Like, you don't get it, do you? This isn't to, like, disrespect everybody in Christianity. It's basically pointing out how you can laugh at people that present this religion as a
something serious we do have to address. During an interview last night, our guest told a joke which we know was deeply and needlessly offensive to many of you. We want to acknowledge the particular offence and hurt that caused our Muslim, but especially our Christian viewers. Obviously, I understand just how profound that offence was.
Yeah, live TV it's unpredictable. And when this happened in the last few moments of last night's show, it genuinely took us all by surprise. And there wasn't a lot of time to react in any sort of considered way.
It's fair to say we weren't expecting a comment like that to be made. We wouldn't knowingly broadcast it, of course.
Get out of here. It was fine. There was no problem with it. I mean, didn't she lose it laughing? I mean, come on now. Come on. Anyway, that's the way Christianity is going in Australia at the moment, kind of thing. It's kind of, we've got to save our precious belief against all of these jokes and all of these mocking people. Oh no. Well, what happened to turn the other cheek, guys? I don't see a lot of cheek turning going on around here. Where's the cheek turning? Because that's not cheek turning. Look, you've got somebody who dresses fantastically for a start. Someone who dresses amazingly with amazing makeup, who's being threatened by somebody with eternal torture. They're saying, hey, you don't believe in, you're gay. And really, like, why are we getting upset about the joke and not the fact that somebody who is religious is making bigoted comments at somebody who's gay? Like, why is that not the outcry? Like, why do people get to threaten people with different lifestyles with eternal torture if they don't believe what you believe? Why isn't that not the topic of conversation? Why is it, oh, you made a joke? I don't get it. And the whole idea that, hey, this religion shouldn't be mocked. No idea is above criticism. Any idea is above criticism. You can go into atheist rooms all the time and say their beliefs are ridiculous. No one's stopping you. No one's stopping you making jokes about atheists. The problem is the religious people, their jokes are usually terrible and not really funny. But that was hilarious. Yeah, so saying, oh, I love Jesus. Jesus can be, I love any man that can be nailed for 3 days and then come back for more. What? That is empirically, objectively funny. I'm sorry. It is funny. It definitely is funny. But what are we doing today? We are aimbotting today, as per usual. Every Wednesday, Tuesday night Eastern time of the week, I am going into Reddit's Am I the Arsehole? And we are seeing who's right, who's wrong, who's a good boy, who's a bad boy. Now, do keep in mind, I have never seen these before today. I would actually... Oh, I'm just an atheist because I want to sin. Yeah, I don't even know what sin is. Sin obviously isn't objective because different religions have different ideas of what is sin. So it's obviously not something that is consistent across religions. Sin seems to be whatever my religion doesn't like, which is sort of just, I mean, it's just a sort of social construct for that religion because everybody outside of it doesn't see it as sinful, including other religions. And Nanalu, how are you? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I want to sin. Where can I get my A card? Oh, any reputable Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, I'm sure. No. I wish it was, though. I wish it was. Yeah, I got down to the dance floor and turned the other cheek. It was a great time. I had a fantastic time. But yeah, we're going into Reddit and having a look at some moral situations and people saying, am I the asshole for doing this? I've never seen them before. You've never seen them before. I'm wondering how Big Bad Mama's post did that they made up in order to, confuse Reddit, which I'm always a fan of. I'm wondering how well it went. I think it was like up to 44 upvotes when I got it, when I last saw it. So that's not great, but it was a valiant effort. So I better share my screen and show you guys what I'm looking at. It didn't go well. I'm sorry to hear that, Big Bad Mama. It was a really good effort, and I thought, there was... Look, it kind of was successful. Because nobody was sort of saying, hey, this is obviously fake kind of thing. So in that regard, it was successful, but popularity-wise, it wasn't. No, I get you. Yeah, transmission. Look, I'm 100% behind you, 100% behind you, and you deserve to be happy. Whoever when you self-actualize, if that is your potential, then you go out and get it, and I'm 100% behind you. I don't care what anybody says. If your well-being is better, then I 100% support you. And let me know if I can do anything to help, because I am an ally, 100%. But yeah, look, then you're still doing the sin of adultery or whatever. You're still having sex out of wedlock. So yeah, you can't win with these people. They'll find something that you've sinned about. There's always something. You can't get away from it. You can't get away from it. Hello, Pat. How are you? So AIMBOT. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I both actually, my wife is very strong ally. She is very, very very sympathetic and empathetic with the people going through this. Yeah, you're right. You're probably wearing mixed fabric right now, right? And just this morning, I boiled a calf in their mother's milk. So I'm going for a twofer. All right, what do we got first? No Sleep Beauty. Okay. Hugs Award. Okay. Am I the asshole for letting my sister walk me down the aisle despite my fiance and his family objections? Look, so we were wondering what makes a fake post, and one of the things was a marriage. So that's one red flag. I, 23 female, was raised by my older sister, 32 female. I never met my dad, and our mum overdosed. Oh, that's so sad. When I was 10 and my sister was 19. My sister's dad was still in her life and was willing to support her, but not me. My sister chose to be my guardian, and her father's family went low contact with her as a result. Oh, they sort of stopped seeing her so frequently? Wow, all right. In order to raise me, she gave up a lot. Her relationship with her father, college, her 20s, and so much more. Yeah, right, okay. Because in the 20s, you would have been, that was 12 years ago, so you would have been 10 or 11 kind of thing. Right, gotcha. A few months ago, I got engaged. I told my sister that in addition to being my maid of honor, I also wanted her to be the one to walk me down the aisle. Sure, why not? Why not? Why not? All my life, she's had to fulfill so many roles for me: big sister, mother, father, friend, that I only felt right those multiple roles be honored in one of the biggest days of my life. My sister was ecstatic, and so was I when I brought it up with my fiance. He objected. What? Why? My future in-laws are very traditional, and my fiance has always expected that his wedding would be a very traditional white wedding. Fuck that guy. Why? He said that it was great that my sister was my maid of honor, but that her having two roles wasn't appropriate for her to walk me down the aisle, since that's usually done by a man. What year is this? Okay. So look, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not going to sort of make a genetic fallacy and say the origin of something is necessarily what it means, but the origin of the father giving you away is kind of like, in ages gone by, that's been a thing of the father who owns the woman, giving you to the husband, who then owns you from then on. It's a passing of ownership traditionally, kind of thing. So I'm not going to say, hey, that's what it means now, because that's a genetic fallacy. It doesn't mean that now. It's just a tradition kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily carry that with it. But I mean, who cares? Apparently this guy. Apparently his family had assumed that my future father-in-law would be the one to give me away, since I don't have any male relatives. Well, they shouldn't have assumed, should they? I told him I appreciate his father being willing to fill that role, but the one who make me the person I am is my sister, so it's right that she be the one to give me away. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all with this poster. It turned into an argument that spread to my in-laws. My mother-in-law called me a few days ago to say, although she understands how important my sister is to me, that it's also my fiance's wedding, and I shouldn't be putting my sister before him on his day. Hey, it's not just his day, it's her day too. Like, this isn't just one person's day. What? On his day? What? Isn't it usually the bride's day? I mean, I hate to be sort of, sexist or but isn't it usually the bride's day kind of thing? I don't know. I definitely heard her on that, but this is still important to me. At this point, my sister has even said she didn't mind being the maid of honor, and she doesn't want to turn my happy day into something stressful. So now it's just me holding out and being stubborn, but I really don't want to concede on this point. Am I being the arsehole? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who's paid for the wedding? Traditionally, that's who gives the bride away. Maybe we'll find out. But a good point in Hillary's emails. Who paid for the wedding? I did not expect this to blow up like this. Yeah, I know, right? Like almost 14,000 upvotes. And haven't been able to read through all of your verdicts and comments yet, but I want to clarify on some of the inquiries that have been paid so far. Are the in-laws contributing in the wedding? Yes, in fact, they're paying for about 75% of it, since I'm still in school and don't have the money to put towards the wedding. There you go. They answered your question. Reddit actually answered somebody's question. Does your fiance have sisters? No, he has two younger brothers. Did Did he ask your sister for your hand? Yeah, he did actually. Okay. She also helped him custom design the engagement ring. She showed the group text and the point they spent 3 weeks trying to decide between 5 different diamonds. Maybe I should just propose with an Infinity Gauntlet. It was so sweet and cute. That would have actually been a boss move, right? Could you imagine? You're sitting there and somebody proposes to you with an Infinity Gauntlet. That's actually pretty cool. Because of a medical condition, I'm infertile. Although neither of us feel particular strong urge to be parents anyway. Yeah, okay. That was my sister's suggestions when she said it was fine, just being the maid of honor, but I rejected it. Because of her, I never walked alone on the worst days of my life, so I'm definitely not going to work alone on the happiest. Your sister is amazing. She is. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with this. I would agree with this. She is, as far as I'm concerned, the definition of strength and love, and I'm collecting all of the kind things you have all said to show her, because she doesn't realize how amazing he is, and it's a goddamn crime. Yeah, no, it is a crime. It is a crime. What Beamsy? Mark Reed, I love you so much. I want you to die in pain from radiation poisoning. What? Why radiation poisoning? What? Where did this come from? I don't understand. I don't understand this comment. Beamsy, you've confused me again. Please update us. I absolutely will. Enough to think about. All right. So what do you think? I think she's definitely not the asshole. I think that her fiance-in-law's cancer treatment. No? Okay, I'm confused. The Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet doesn't give you cancer. What's wrong with you, Beamsy? What? How does the Infinity Gauntlet give you cancer? The Gauntlet doesn't give you cancer. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Are you talking how it like burns people out when they do the snap kind of thing, right? But that only happens when you do like a particularly big amount of power, like if you're making half the people disappear or something. Look, you've got to know your stuff if you're going to come on and talk about Marvel, sir. Yeah, no, nobody's got any clue what you're talking about, Beansy. I think you're talking out of your area of expertise. Stick to geology or engineering or one of the other 10 dozen things you're expert in, because Marvel Cinematic Universe obviously isn't one of them. I'm sorry, I'm drawing the line. This is a line. You can't talk smack about the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't think she's what your answer? What I'm ignoring your answer. Okay, sorry, I missed that, Big Bad Mama. That's totally my fault. Totally my fault. She should be able to choose who walks down the aisle. The fiancé is letting his family pick for her. He's a control freak. His family's a nightmare, and she should run screaming for the door. Well, that's the kind of, I think she should stand by her guns. I'm not sure she should call the whole thing off on the wedding. Look, weddings aren't that important. I think as long as you have fun and you're having a good time, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to have a traditional marriage. Like, who cares that they're traditional? Damn, just get over it. Seriously. A woman can be give the bride away. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares. I'm not ignoring your answer, honestly. I'll get the poll set up and post it. I want a poll. Someone give me a poll. I think this girl is awesome, actually. I think she's awesome for standing up and saying, I want who I want to be giving me away. I'm not going to compromise on this. If I'm going to be married and it's my wedding, it's your wedding too, but you wouldn't be telling it would be like telling the groom who his best man is going to be, right? Like, if he wants to have his sister as his best man, so be it. So be it. Look, if my wife, when I married her, told me who my best man was going to be, I would say, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to choose that. And if I told, like, if she wanted her sister, I mean, she doesn't have a sister, but if she had a sister and she wanted her sister to be the person giving her away, fantastic, awesome, no problem at all. Yeah, make them your maid of honor, make them your entire bridal party if you want it. You get to decide that. You know, you don't just get to choose things for people. Like, that's her choice. Ugh. What is that called? As father of the bride. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're gonna do some sort of some initializations here to cut it down. Anyway, okay, BBC says, with the Infinity Gauntlet, it is powerful by itself as crafting of Uru, but every stone is added to increase the power, but also starts to poison the user. No, it doesn't poison the user, Beamsy. It's only when you use the all 5 stones or all 4 stones, or, you know, sort of a large amount of the stones. If you don't use it, you're fine. Or if you use it using not much of the power, you're fine. I'm gonna look this up. I don't believe you, Beamsy. I think you're making this up. I really do. Why is this turning into a stream about the Infinity Gauntlet? Yeah, when someone wields the Infinity Gauntlet, so you have to use it. So, you know, and I mean, admittedly, it's not great. You know what, either. But I think the Infinity Stones weren't as powerful in the comics, or they weren't as dangerous in the comics. You could kind of pick them up and toss them around and stuff, and that's fine. Although, yeah, I think they were actually not too bad. Like the whole idea of you touching the Infinity Stones and getting destroyed by the power. I think that was a movie thing, and it wasn't a comic book thing. Yeah, no, totally. Just use it on low power. Absolutely. You use it to heat up your dinner like a microwave, and that's it. You know, like, that's fine. All right. What does Reddit say? Tell your mother-in-law that your father-in-law can walk your fiance down the aisle if he wants to give someone away. Yes, nice. Yes, yes, yes. If he wants to give someone away, and your fiance wants him to give someone away, do it yourselves. Or better yet, strongly consider not marrying to the family because they're assholes. Yeah. I actually love this idea and think it'd be super lovely if his dad walked him down the aisle. Yeah, I think that'd be nice too. I think that would be nice too. My now husband and I walked down the aisle together. I had a vague idea it symbolizes walking into our future together, but I also didn't want my dad to walk me down the aisle because mum did all the heavy lifting of raising me. Yeah. So when I got married, my fiance at the time, Lynn's dad, walked her down the aisle. I had a best man. There wasn't a bridal party, so to speak. You know, there was just sort of, Lynn had sort of a maid of honor kind of thing, and that was about it. But ours was very casual, very sort of thing. It was actually really lovely. It was in a botanical garden, which was lovely. Just really nice. You know, not in a church. I think church is the fiance is a bit of a putz. Yeah, I gotta admit. What if a father-in-law walked the groom down the aisle and stayed with him at the front of the church while the sister walked the poster down the aisle? When everyone is up the front, the father-in-law and sister can place the right hand of the bride into the left hand of the groom, signifying their union. Sure. But it's not traditional. Who cares? Tradition sucks. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, that's really nice. And the traditionists are sort of going, oh, but it isn't the same as the thing we've been doing for no reason for the last 1,000 years. Who cares? Who cares? If you haven't already done it, you both need to sit down and have a frank talk about how you see the future. Get answers about your career. Yeah, that's a good point. Have to work X shifts so I won't be home till late. I need to go across the country for my residency. Yeah. I mean, is he traditional in the way that, are you going to be expected to do the housework and just, do that? Is that traditional as well? That's basic misogyny. What is? Where's the original post? Original poster. Have you guys talked about when it times to come to match for a residency and you only have some input in where you get placed? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is kind of misogynistic. It is kind of. You need to hold out, girl. If it's important to you, you should hold out. I've never heard somebody refer to a wedding as his day before. I mean, I don't get me wrong, it kind of is, but usually they're saying, "Hey, it's her day," kind of thing. I love her sense of humor. To the point you arrive at the altar, you should put your sister before him. After you marry him, put him first, but you're not married yet. This is literally what this tradition means. Well, no, not really. It's kind of the father used to own the daughter and would give, like, the giving away is like him giving ownership over to the husband. That's maybe that's what the tradition now means. It's not what it literally meant then. At least that's what it means now. Okay, thank you. Next Wishbone. You have made me a happy man. All right. I hope your sister isn't exchanging you for livestock or anything. If she is, I hope she got at least a cow and 3 goats for me. I don't want to come with much of a dowry, but I definitely have the childbearing hips to be worth an extra mule or 2. If we're going to go back to like this kind of thing, infertility makes you not worth much at all, which is why we don't see things the way we used to, because that's terrible. That's terrible. Yeah, everyone's not the arsehole. Absolutely. Solemn, very good to see you, Solemn. Newlywed couples need all the support they can get. The in-laws are already trying to sabotage it. Makes it wonder what they're like the rest of the time. Yeah, absolutely. It does make me wonder. And what else? Because it sounds like she's been raised in sort of progressive family with the sister saying, hey, we can be a family and have love and enjoy ourselves, and I will take that over my family, who are sort of distancing themselves for her because they don't have the mother father kids kind of thing, and they're going into a traditional sort of, obviously people that may believe in a nuclear family. You've got to start asking questions. How are those going to intermesh? How are they gonna pair up? So it seems like a small thing, but this is sort of going to lay the foundation of how you're going to interact with your in-laws. you know, I kind of, my in-laws kind of, so here's the thing, like my in-laws, my mother-in-law can be a bit sort of, you know, you ought to do this and ought to do that. But I think from interactions, they know they can't tell me what to do. Like they can, you know, give advice and they can give their suggestions. But at the end of the day, if I decide to do something, if Lynn and I decide to do something, they will not change our minds and they might as well just accept it. And that's sort of over a few different interactions where they have suggested stuff very firmly and we've said, no, this is up to us. So it's important to lay that groundwork. It's called setting boundaries in sort of psychology. You do have to set those boundaries of what you'll accept, what you won't accept. And even though it may seem like, you know, oh, well, this is okay, it only just barely, you know, violates that boundary that we've set, it's really important to keep that boundary there and say, no, we're not going to accept that to please you. That is a boundary we must have. Setting boundaries are really important in your life. What you let people get away with, you have to be willing to let them get away with it again, because once people are past that boundary, they're going to do it again. So learning how to set boundaries, learning to stand behind those boundaries is incredibly important in life, as you know, in my opinion, of course. But this is good. This is I'll see where you wonderful people are at, and I hope nobody sunk my poll again. Nice, yeah. Everybody agrees. 75%. Poster is not the problem. A couple of people said that nobody is immoral. One or two people, I guess. One or two people said everyone is awful. I don't know why. That's probably Titan again, because he always sinks my polls by doing random stuff. What a guy. All right. You do you, girl. You stand by that boundary. If your sister is the one that you feel should give you away, then your sister ought to be the one to give you away. It is good for your well-being to stand by that boundary, to make it clear that you have a say, a powerful say in your relationship, the way that you exercise that relationship, and the way you interact with your family. That's good for your well-being, and you do have to put that before. I mean, what harm does it do is the question I would ask. What harm does it do? Your traditional values aren't being upheld. Big deal. They don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. They mean nothing. They're gone are the days where your father owned you and gave you away to your husband, who then owned you. That is not how the world works anymore. And traditional values is just doing things for the sake of doing them. It's pointless. So, you know, be a human and understand. Wedding posts are probably created by AI. Yeah, but I don't know about this one. I would agree with you, but this seems to have a lot of updates, a lot of back and forth there in the comments, you know, sort of talking about it. If somebody did this on an AI, they've taken a lot of time to do so, and, you know, updated the post and edited it and stuff. So look, if they made this one up, then they've won this round. You know, you've won this round, ChatGPT. That's fine. I'm happy. Ad. Next up, look, there's going to be an occasional look. You are so cynical. Why are you so cynical, Big Man Mama? Yeah, I agree, Nanalu. This family is stuck in the dark ages. A lot of these traditions are like this. That they basically remnants of systems and processes that we used to do back in the day that we just don't do anymore. You know, it's not useful anymore. Not to say that you can't have a lot of fun and a lot of contentment doing these sort of old traditional exercises kind of thing, but it's when they're seen as necessary, when they're seen as a necessary component, that it's just I'm really sorry, they're not. I'm sorry. Like, you think that going through this process is a necessary component for society, and I'm really sorry, but it's not. But some people have a hard end. Yeah, I did see that was on. I didn't want to go in there and poach anybody, but I did see that was on. I usually watch them, but I'm not. By comparing a Kent quote to a Hitler quote. Oh, if you could share the quote, I'd be absolutely interested, AJ. Absolutely. Next up, with an update too. Am I the asshole for making my... Oh, it's got the original. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I will just... Am I the asshole for making my teens 16 male and 14 female share? I think we saw this. Did we see this? Throwaway account. Simply too unlucky. Okay. My husband accidentally passed through. I became a single mother of 3 kids, age 16 male, 14 female, and 2 female. Due to the significant decrease in income, I was no longer able to continue renting where we were, and all I can afford is a 1-bedroom apartment. Currently, I'm sleeping in the living room with my youngest, 2 female. I gave the bedroom to my 16 male and 16 female and 16 male and 14 female and asked them to share in the meanwhile. I tried adding a privacy screen in the middle so they felt like their own space, but they are telling me that this isn't acceptable. Each of my kids are used to having their own room, so this is a massive change for them. Oh, this is terrible. Yeah, it does sound familiar, Nanalu. It does sound familiar. In God's perfect law, if we continually execute people that do certain crimes, we will gradually get a much better society. That not so many people have this mean gene in them. Mean gene? Gradually getting much better. Yeah. Oh, no, I missed the first part. I'm sorry, AJ. I missed the first part. Sorry. Hence today, I believe I am acting in accordance with the will of the Almighty Creator by defending myself against the Jew. I am fighting. Yeah, that's a horrible quote. I am fighting for the work of the Lord. In God's perfect law, we will continually execute people that do certain crimes. We will gradually get a much better society. That not so many people have this mean gene in them. Yeah, so here's the thing. Hitler wasn't an atheist. They will say he's an atheist, kind of thing. They will say he was, following Darwin's kind of writings, kind of thing. To be honest with you, it was more Hegel that he was listening to, rather than Darwin, who Darwin did not propose the kind of things that Hegel did. So he did have this very, very strange divine right thing that went through his entire things. I don't think he was a Christian. He was born Catholic. He never renounced the Catholic Church, but from the way that he talked, it was unlikely that he was a Catholic or even a Christian. He seemed to go into a lot of occultish ideas and ideas drawn from the Germanic religions, kind of thing. Sort of the Norwegian Ring trilogy and things like that, so sort of this sort of occultish Germanic kind of mesh of really bad ideas about superiority and power, kind of thing. But he wasn't an atheist, and I don't think he was a Christian either. But they will say, hey, he was an atheist because he, tried to implement Darwin's thing. No, Darwin never advocated for this. Darwin never said that his natural selection or even artificial selection is the best way to go. Never embraced eugenics. Eugenics is a terrible idea. This whole idea of mean genes is a terrible idea. If you're doing that, look, here's the proof, right? So if you're eliminating people with sort of bad genes that you see as bad. People like Stephen Hawking would never have given us the knowledge he gave us. The man was amazing and contributed to humanity, which is the same as a lot of people out there with a lot of different disabilities or a lot of different problems that have contributed so much to society. And that's including gay people. Not that that's genetic, or I don't know where that comes from. It may be genetic, it may not be, but you're definitely born with it. So all of these things, and that's not a problem. It's just, if you're saying, hey, let's eliminate these people from our society, you don't know what you're eliminating, right? You don't know what contribution. They may be the next person to make fresh water out of salt water. They might come up with that innovation. They may help 10,000 people around them just by sheer doing charity or doing work or employing people. You don't know what that person is going to do. So eliminating people just because of who they are is a recipe for disaster, because you are missing out on so much that you won't even be aware of. So I fully reject that idea. We must think better than that. We must acknowledge that every one of us is important for the sheer potentiality of us, for the sheer potential that we don't know what they will do. Now, that doesn't give people a right to survive infringing on other people's rights. If you're infringing on other people's rights, then yeah, that changes things. But just for who they are, terrible. Terrible. Sinedra. Oh, thank you, Sinedra. I showed your comment to Lynn, and she just squeed a little bit. That was really nice. I really appreciate your comment on our picture. I was trying to listen to the debate, but I hear cows produce cows. Yeah. Nobody's not saying that. Of course they do. But they're cows that are slightly different than the cows previously. Just a tiny bit. And after that tiny bit of change adds up, you can have a cow that is completely different than another cow. And over more time, you can basically have that cow split into another organism that can no longer even breed with the cow. That's what we're saying. But the law of monophily says it'll always be a cow. Could be a repost bot. Yeah, it could be. Look, I'm not going to be able to tell. This is the thing. I would be lucky to tell. So, yeah, I just have to accept these posts at face value, Morenia. I really do. And do let us know if you would like to be called Morenia here, and what your name is, what you want to be called. So I will call you whatever you put down, whatever you want. Look, at the end of the day, we use people's names. My gamer name is VectorSlide, and I was known as Vector or Vecky or VectorSlide or any of those combinations for a long time, and that was who I was. You should be able to determine your name. It's such a trite thing for people to go, hey, you've got to have this name because that's what your parents had. Who said that? Like, in today's society, what does it matter? I knew a person that called themselves Meow Meow Ludo Gamma Disco Meow. And I worked with that guy, and he was just called Meow Meow. And I don't know why he chose that name, but whatever. I'll thank you, Sinedra. You're wonderful. I can't believe he's still using that rhetoric. Yeah, maybe it works on his followers, but I can't imagine anyone else being convinced by that. Well, I mean, he did famously get disowned by Creation Ministries, who said, don't use his arguments, don't use them, because they're absolutely terrible and they make all of Christianity look bad. This is the thing. Kent Hovind's probably done more for the atheist movement than I have. Like, seriously. Still trying to decide between Morenia or Marshall or something else my real name. That's okay. That's okay. But your pronunciation. Oh, look, Morena. More. Yeah, I know. Look, my pronunciation of many words is odd. I got to admit. Have you ever had like a word that you've been mispronouncing for ages, and someone said that's not how it's pronounced? And you're like, no, it is. And then you've checked it and you've gone, oh, okay, I've been mispronouncing that for years. Have you ever done that? I have. I certainly have. I mean, I used to say cachet before I did programming. You know, like hang on a sec. I used to say cachet. His pronunciation of no is just a no. You know, and I'm going to be worried about that for the next year or so. No. I love your pronunciation quirks. Oh, thank you. Look, it's I'm going to blame the accent. It's all the accent. It's all the Australian accent's fault. Please pronounce my name correct. What is it? Big Bad Mama? Big Bad Mama? You add that Australian vowel sound at the end. Oh, okay. No. It's great. You chew on it like I'm chewing the scenery. Yeah, absolutely. Look, it throws people off in debate. It's just a tactic. NASA taught it to me when they employed me. NASA taught it to me. Let's go back to the post. I feel like you people have sidetracked me enough. How dare you? How dare you? I've been looking for a better paying job and had no luck. Oh, this is sad. I can't get a second job. I can't afford someone to pay for my daughter, female, my 2-year-old outside of daycare hours. Neither of my kids, 16 male and 16 female, are willing to help, and they say my youngest is not their responsibility. Well, for the past month, I'm not there. The situation isn't ideal, but I don't know what else I can do. You can't do anything. Oh, that's terrible. Look, your kids may hate it, but I mean, what can you do? What can you do? They want their own room. You can't afford their own room. That's life. My pronoun is thine sexual reproductive organ of the cranial variety. Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks, Beamsy. No, you're not, Beamsy. You're fine. For the past month, I've not been eating anything for 2 days a week and telling the kids I'm trying out the fasting trend for weight loss purposes. The truth is I can't afford to feed us all, and I've been using the food bank. You probably shouldn't lie to your kids, and that's bad for you. Prior to this, I'd never had to use food bank services before, and I'm so thankful it exists. I'm both thankful and deeply ashamed at the same time. You shouldn't be ashamed of being poor. No, that's not something you should be ashamed of. Oh, I'm so sorry. Simply too unlucky. Would I be the arsehole for telling my teens they must share a bedroom? Would it be better if I suggested my son sleep in the living room with me and having both my female kids share the bedroom instead? Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a better solution. I do not live in the US, but it is not common for teenagers of opposite sex to share a bedroom. That is something I do absolutely recognize. Yeah, it kind of is. Edit. Gosh, I wasn't expecting so many responses when I checked back. Thank you, everyone. All this time, I did feel it'd be unfair to put adult problems on my kids. However, I'll be giving them a surface level talk about our finances. I'll also bring them with me to the food bank. Hopefully, they'll be more understanding. Yeah. The bedroom is larger than the living room. I am able to fit 2 single beds in the bedroom and have kids spoil the space in the clothes. Divider in the middle. The living room is smaller. I currently am relatively. Okay, so she set it up as she suggested. Okay. Oh, hello, Randolph. It's so good to see you. So being poor, So what I've noticed, and this is nothing on you guys from the US, but there's a tendency to go, well, you're poor, that's something to be ashamed of, kind of thing. Australia has a different mentality. To us, there's a concept, and Beamsy will back me up on this, of the Aussie battler, like somebody doing it hard and still keeping on going. And that isn't, to us, that is somebody who should be admired. If you're doing it hard and you're hanging in there, you're to be admired, not to be ashamed. You are doing good work with what you got. You are trying your hardest, and that's to an Australian, that is the Aussie battler, trying so hard. And we love an underdog. Australia loves an underdog. We adore the person who's on the bottom and still fighting. The person who's being held down and still fighting. I've noticed it's a kind of different mentality than the US. And I could be wrong on this. So do let me know if you are in the US, that sort of the person who's rich and successful is to be admired. Not to Australians. It's kind of the person doing hard work, hanging in there, is the person to be admired. It's a completely different mentality. And that's not to say, rich people are attacked or anything like that. It's just we don't look down on those people who are doing it tough. Yeah, Beamsy backs me up. Make the best of what you got. Yeah, absolutely. Hanging it hard. I've never heard that Australian. I don't think I said that. I think I said hanging on hard. Like, so that's my Australian accent again. Either that or it's your fault, Big Bad Mama. I wouldn't say something like that. Yeah, like, there's a lot of people struggling in this world, and they don't need you to look down on them for simply being in the circumstances that they are. The well-being of our society relies on us treating each other with respect, even though that person is not in the place that you are. I feel really privileged to be where I am. I'm, and I never look down on people, people that are less fortunate and less well off. I was lucky to have certain qualities and certain education and things like that. Some other people have not been as lucky. There's no reason to look down on them. There's a lot of good people out there who all that's happened is they've run into unfortunate circumstances. That's it. When I was younger, I was a bit of a tearaway. I could have easily ended up in jail, or something happened to me. I was lucky it didn't, and that's just luck. So, well, I mean, okay, so what's a bogan? A bogan is basically like a lower class sort of rednecky kind of person, but they really do. If they're doing harm to society, I don't think that applies. Respect the person. You don't have to respect the harm they do to society. So here's the update, and I want to upvote this because that person's. I had a chat with my kids after work. I still don't want to put an adult problem on my kids, so I only gave them a brief overview of the dire financial issues we're having after their husband and their father passed away. Us downsizing to a one-bedroom apartment was not by choice. Absolutely. It's they lost their father. I also told them the truth about how I couldn't afford to feed us all and why I didn't know it for 2 days of the week. I was afraid of how they would take the news, but it has gone better than I expected. My kids will be coming with me to the food bank for the next trip to help out. So they just accepted it. This is sort of communication, why we need to communicate and be honest and upfront with people more. Nearly every single post where things are going wrong, it's through a lack of communication. Not all of them, but sort of a lot of them has been a lack of communication. We need to talk to each other more, explain how we feel a lot more. Guys particularly don't explain how they feel, especially to their partners and people they love, and it causes a lot of problems, in my opinion. Hello, Simos. It's so good to see you. So this communication is so important. In terms of the rooming situation, both of my older kids agreed they didn't want to share a room with my youngest because she frequently wakes up at night and also has accidents. They also didn't want to share with me because I get up much earlier than them to work and it would disrupt their sleep. They would rather share the room with each other while I continue to sleep in the living room. My 16 male and 14 female told me that their friends were saying no kid should ever have to watch their sibling because they didn't create them. Okay, this took a right-hand turn into stupidity. That's the dumbest thing you've ever seen. They've been told by their friends that it's parentification to be asked to babysit even for an hour. It's never okay in any circumstance. That isn't true. It's not parentification to ask to babysit. What are you talking? Okay, so they've got the wrong idea of parentification. So as far as I understand it, parentification is like where you ask your kids to be a parent, like take on the responsibility of a parent way before they are ready to. I don't think at sort of 16 and 14 you're really doing that. It's when you're it's when you're basically asking them to take care of the child for a very long-term process kind of thing. So when you're asking them to take on the responsibility of that child for long term, like we're not talking about an hour's babysitting. An hour's babysitting has never done any 14-year-old any harm whatsoever. You're not really responsible for them. You're only taking like short-term responsibility. Ultimate responsibility is still on the parent. Doing it too much can sort of cause problems, but an hour's babysitting now and again, I don't think it has that bad a problem. If it is for something like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old maybe, yeah, that can be a problem. Absolutely. If you're expecting your 12-year-old to take care of your baby for a period of time, yes, that's parentification. But if you're asking your 14-year-old to occasionally babysit for an hour, are you the real Simos? That is, I can confirm that is the real Simos Funk. Absolutely amazing person. If you do like Formula One, subscribe. And if you like Hell Let Loose or DayZ, subscribe to Simos Funk. He can take a tank down a mountain like a graceful mountain goat. I've seen it myself. Trust me on that. Can you watch your little brother and sister and make sure they didn't eat cat litter? You do what you need is not parentification. No, it's not. And it is a bit more than that because you're basically, it is a 2-year-old. They're not completely self-reliant as that yet. It's not like, but is 14 too young? Maybe 14 a little young? No, I hate F1. What the hell? Don't you have a channel on F1? I don't. You hate F1. Car racing in general? Look, I don't know cars, Simos. If you'll be his second. He's got more subscribers than that, Big Bad Mama. He's got more subscribers to that. Make dinner, bathe, wash your clothes, go out to work and deal with their care and get another baby daddy as parentification. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, no, totally. Totally. I get you. That's true, actually. That's true. I think Atheist Junior has a channel on Kent Hovind, and everybody hates him. So I think, yeah. Look it up. All right, I will. I'll call your bluff. I will call your bluff. I will call you. Look, you haven't won the last bet about putting a post in. You're not going to win this. So that's the last time I've seen 332 subscribers be one subscriber. I looked it up. He's got over 300 subscribers. Actually, what's impressive about this is that he's got over 500 videos. He's got more videos than subscribers. That's actually amazing. That's so cool. Look, you go, man. Click on his icon in chat. You know what? No. I don't. No. That's a secondary account. You get out of here. No. I refuse. They've been told by friends that yeah, it's never okay. That's why they kept calling me an arsehole wing. They could ask if they could help with childcare so I can get a second job. Now they know how bad the situation is. My son says he wants to find a part-time job to help contribute. My daughter apologized and said it wasn't that she hated me or her sister. Both my son and daughter said they're willing to help take care of the younger so I can get a second job. Hopefully I can find something soon and be able to move to a larger space. Yes. And the kids step up when you communicate what's actually going on. Don't listen to some shithead saying it's parentification to help with your, you know, your sister for an hour or so here and there. That isn't what parentification is. That fourth paragraph, Reddit is destroying an entire generation of young people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because they didn't create them. They sent a message to Simon's Funkation confirmation of the Simon's defunct account. Okay, well, I mean, you can do that, I guess. Have we got a fake funk? Is there a fake funk? Have we got a fake funk account? Yes. Oh, Simos. Yeah, the Simos is taken over. Yeah, it's now a Simos funk stream. Absolutely. And you know what? Nobody could be more glad than me, quite frankly. Nobody could be more glad than me. No, I love you, man. You're awesome. Funk is never fake. You object to the fake funk. Can you? Oh, Randolph, I love you, man. Just looking out for everybody. It's fantastic. Paul, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, seriously, I should just open a stream and let you people talk in the background. Like, you don't need me. I know that. So I'm so glad you come to my stream because you guys don't need me. You're fine on your own. You're good. You're good. I did actually, yeah. I'll address it afterwards. Actually, I'll put it afterwards. But I want to do this poll and get it out there, and then I can see what Reddit thinks of Reddit's terribleness. Doubt is one of my greatest allies. Absolutely, yes. So skepticism is a potent ally. Reasonable skepticism. And he refuses to confirm or deny. That's it. Somebody ban him. No, I'm joking. Don't ban him. Don't ban anybody except Jill. Ban Jill. If you see Jill, ban. Insta ban. Okay. Yeah. So this whole idea that you shouldn't have to help your parents because that's your parents putting their thing on. A family is more than just sort of parents doing the work and kids enjoying themselves. But the thing is, most kids are willing to step up if they're explained to, and this is why, like, people are like, "Oh, well, I've got to protect my kids from the truth." No, you don't. You don't. Your kids can handle the truth. They will cope with the truth. It's that communication and coming together. It's all about connections, and if you stop that communication, if you stop that connection, you push people away from you, which I've done in the past. Everybody's done it in the past. You don't want to tell people something, so you push them away. And I'm trying to learn how not to do that, to connect with people and keep that connection up, and give them the truth when I'm not doing great, when I'm having a bad time. And this, and I get, this is why shame is never useful. It's never useful. It's a horrible emotion that is never, it's never helped anybody. Sort of being guilty for doing something is a useful emotion, but the shame, sort of, I'm a bad person because of the circumstances I'm in or the actions that I've done, that's not true, and it's not helpful. You don't have to be ashamed of who you are. And I really want to that's what pride, sort of LGBTQI is about. Pride is about countering that idea of, because of who you are, you should be ashamed. No, you shouldn't. You may have done bad things. You may have made mistakes. You may have had errors and bad judgment. That doesn't make you be a bad person inherently. We've got to counter this idea that people are born bad. No, you don't have to be ashamed of being human, being fallible, being making mistakes. You don't have to be ashamed about that. Yeah, Big Bad Mama is one of. Oh, sorry, I mispronounced that. Big Bad Mama is one of the greatest trolls I've ever seen. They troll for atheism and skepticism, and their content's fantastic. So definitely sub to Big Bad Mama if you do like satirical pseudo-creationist nonsense, because the way they edit their videos, it is just so absurd. And I'm there for it, quite frankly. I'm there for the absurdity of beliefs. I'm there for it, absolutely. So what are people saying? My family were during COVID. My 3 kids basically spent 6 months alone during days. Yeah, okay. They have not complained even once about the situation. They understood its strange situation. So let's talk about the incredible attitude of young people when it came to the COVID pandemic. The incredible attitude that they had. And there were people that were sort of outspoken and they didn't want to do it. What got me about the situation is that people who were young and probably wouldn't be affected by the pandemic, were doing the right thing, and older people who were most vulnerable were complaining and bitching and doing the wrong thing and just acting the fool. Like, seriously. I really have a lot of respect for the young people who grew up with this situation and they just didn't complain about it. It was just necessary. And that's why I have a lot of hope for the future, because people may point out, oh, these kids are selfish. These kids do this. These kids do that. Can I remind you that they took on a burden of something that probably wouldn't affect them and did it with very little complaints? So kudos to the next generation. They do seem to understand equality and why we have to take care of people. I have a lot of hope for the generations coming up, and I hope you do too, because I think I was a lot more selfish at that age. I think a lot of the people my age were a lot more selfish at their age, and their social obligation was proven in one of the hardest circumstances that we have. So, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Randolph. Anti-vaccine. I'm so sorry to hear that. That is terrible. I'm so sorry, Morena. It breaks my heart that there were people out there giving misinformation that led people down these tracks. It does. So much love, and I'm really sorry to hear that. My heart goes out to you. It's hard to say whether somebody would have died or not if they didn't get COVID. We don't have counterfactuals, but it was preventable, and so when we talk about the dangers of not thinking critically, when we talk about the dangers of people in religion substituting thought and prayer for actual medical treatment, when we talk about this is the kind of thing that we talk about. This is why it's important. These are real people. These are important people that we kind of, for no reason, it's heartbreaking, and my sincere condolences. I am so sorry to hear that. And this is the thing, you're probably not alone. And the thing that gets me is that my country implemented these lockdowns, and this segment of people, and you know who I'm talking about, this segment of people in the US is like Australia is now a military, martial law country where you can't do this and you can't do that, and hassled us for it. And over here we were like, no, we're happy to do it because we know it's going to save lives. If you look at the amount of deaths in the country, the outcome showed definitively that it was the right thing to do, that this was a necessary step in protecting our people. So when you're looking at it from a moral standpoint, what is the well-being of the people? How can we get the well-being of the society up to a standard that we can maximize that, even at the cost of the freedom of people? And that's what we did. And you look at the deaths in the US were through the roof. It was terrible. I mean, I can probably get some stats on it, probably. I think John Hopkins kept stats on it, kind of thing. Look, I'm going so far off topic, it's ridiculous. This has been AIMBOT, sort of, am I off on a tangent or them? So here's where it's at, and this is be prepared. It's gonna shock you. The total deaths in America from COVID-19 is 1,122,599 as it stands. So 1.12 million people died. In Australia, 19,459 people died. That's the difference in amounts is staggering, just staggering. You have 1.12 million compared to 19,000. Why? Because we locked down and hard, and I don't. You may say, hey, that's against freedom. Fuck it. We're talking about people's lives here. This isn't a game. This isn't, you know, how do we let people do whatever they want under any circumstances? The question you've got to ask yourself, is 1 million lives worth it? Is 1 million lives worth not locking down? If you think it is, well, great, then you accept those 1 million deaths. I don't. I think that if we lock down and prevent 1 million deaths, that is the best thing for the well-being of the country and the people. And we're not locked down forever. The vaccine came out. We distributed it. We're now doing okay. It's not like you've lost that forever. Just, you know, this is a pandemic. This is an extraordinary circumstance. So, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. That's just my my opinion. It's okay for AIMBOT to miss one to target once a mile. No, that isn't the purpose of AIMBOT. It's to hit every single time. That's like, it's not doing its job. It's not doing its job. It was definitely a minority of Sky News one types nation. Yes, that's correct. It did get bigger than that. Yes, and we were watching a clip on Sky News actually earlier about you know, how religion's being insulted by the sort of secular thing and how bad it is. They're terrible. They're Fox for Australians, and they are absolutely horrendous. Like, they're just terrible. Oh, you wanna see Canada, hey? I think I probably do have Canada. Hold it, I'll find it again. I think it's in here. No, I'm professional, honestly. Trust me. I'm a professional YouTuber. John Hopkins again. Canada. How many deaths in total? Yeah, Canada is 51,605. So, yeah. What did you say, Randolph? Yeah. So, yeah, it's still a great deal, but you know, I get it. I get it. It's not necessary. Fabian's better safety records in regards to yeah, I don't know if it was research. I don't know. You know, that's just where the virus originated from. I think it's sort of, yeah, it's sort of hard to blame them. We don't know what happened there. I think with this one, and I've sidetracked so much there. I don't know what's wrong with my head. It's like, it's not parentification to sometimes watch your younger siblings. Yeah, exactly. Certain things are doing too much babysitting. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Turns into parentification. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the poor kids as well. I mean, it's not great. They've just lost their father. Nothing's great here. Yeah, nothing's great. It's been 99%. Can you cite that to me, Beamsy? Citation needed, mate. Citation needed. You want to claim that? Then give me the citation that says it. You know, if it's been 99% proven. I don't think it has. I think they believe it came from a wet market, was the last thing I heard. So, you know, will do. Awesome, my friend of Beam. You prove it. Teams are simultaneously perceptive and the densest people on Earth. The contradiction is part of their charm. I don't know about that. Maybe. So glad the kids stepped up. Of course they did. Like, you've got to give people a chance to do the right thing. It's not just Reddit. TikTok hits hard too. You know, what's your opinion of TikTok? What's everyone's opinion of TikTok? I don't TikTok. I don't. Yeah. What? How old were you? Abracadabra backwards. Sabra Cadabra. Sabra Cadabra. Sabra Cadabra. Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of misinformation that I'm talking about. Yeah, that's yes, that's horrible, horrible. Like telling people not to worry about it. It's not a good idea. Oh yeah, it definitely came from Wuhan, Randolph. But the last thing I heard that it was most likely to have come from a wet market, not a lab. That's the last thing I heard. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but that's the last thing I heard. TikTok was the Russian spies try to connect with people to dig up dirt on them. In addition to that, seems mostly a waste of time and short and entertaining video clips. Yeah, I've heard some issues about like sort of how China sort of what sort of thing. TikTok is mind rot. Do you think the same about YouTube Shorts, like YouTube Shorts as well? Not sure. Hello, Michael. Hello, beautiful man. What's up? I've got to reconnect with you and maybe do some talks or some commentaries or some reviews or something, Michael. I feel like I haven't talked to you for ages, mate, and I really do want to. But I'll get back the poll, and I'll probably do one more of these before leaving you all. I don't want to take the stream too long. But I want to talk to you guys about what else I can do to entertain your busy minds. I feel like my debates are fantastic. I love doing debates. My major problem is I don't get enough debates or enough, sort of. I've got to get better at pinning down debates. But I'll talk to you after. I'll talk about it after. Where's the And the poll says the poster is terrible and the poster is not the problem in equal measure. Well, obviously my chat is confused. My chat is very confused. Okay, so people are in two minds about this one. I don't know why, because I don't think making your kids share a bedroom is not, is particularly bad, but, you're entitled to your opinion, I guess. No, the misinformation and conspiracy nonsense on TikTok is unhinged. Really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Maybe I can make a segment on it. I don't know. Am I the arsehole for telling my brother he is not child-free? What do you mean by child-free? He doesn't have any children? What? My brother Brandon is 16 and decided he is child-free, which basically just means he doesn't want to be around our 4-year-old little cousin. Well, okay, I guess. I mean, he's got that choice, but if I guess. I gave you 3 to show it does not have the markers of a novel natural coronavirus, so it ends up with that. It leans heavy towards being originated in the lab. Well, I haven't seen that. How dare you, Randolph? You've destroyed the entire poll. I suppose someone's got to. I mean, Titan Uranus isn't here, so someone's got to destroy the poll. And yes, I'd love to team up in a debate. Maybe if you send something to James and I do as well, saying we'd like to take on the God question at some point in a tag team, that would be a lot of fun. And for modern day debate, I think that would be a lot of fun and a good conversation. Okay, a lot of people saying, well, Matt, that's the first time I've heard it, Sabracadabra. So Beams could be absolutely right, but I don't know. we have our dinner at our grandparents every other weekend together with all of our aunts and uncles and cousins and, family. Brandon never liked our little cousin and recently decided that means he doesn't have to talk to her or acknowledge her existence at all. Okay. Brandon will 100% ignore her, and if she keeps trying to talk to him, he'll stand up and go to another room. The parents don't really care about it. They're usually parents talking to each other and don't pay attention with us. Last weekend, Brandon was ignoring our little cousin once again. She was showing him her drawings, and when he stood up and went away, she started crying, and I went after Brandon to call him out on it. Look, you can't make people like another person, even if that person is a 4-year-old. Some people just don't like kids. I don't particularly like kids. Like, I'm not, the whole idea that you have to like kids. If a 4-year-old did show me drawings, I'd probably pay attention and go, yeah, they're cute. That's good. I probably wouldn't be like that, but I can't see it as he's got to pretend to enjoy being around kids if he doesn't like kids. Okay, I'll definitely look it up. I'll definitely look it up. So should you be forced to engage with a kid, even if you're 16 and you don't like kids? I think he's doing the best. If he thinks he's going to snap and yell at her, or she annoys him, and he feels like he doesn't, he's going to say something to her that's going to be mean or whatever, maybe that's the best thing for him. I don't think he's being an arsehole. I just think that he doesn't like kids. Some people don't. He said he was child-free and he doesn't have to engage with children if he doesn't want to. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't have to. He is not being rude or mean to her, so he is not doing anything wrong. Well, that's true. He's not doing anything immoral. I told him he can't be child-free when he is a child himself. What? He's not a child. He's 16. That's not a child. He's a teenager. He's not a child. Why are you saying my brother? And he is being mean to our cousin. No, he's not being mean. He's just not being nice. He's being very, very neutral. Like, you've got to learn what mean actually is. He then acted like I committed the most atrocious crime for not believing he knows he will never want children. Okay, so what brought up that comment? So did he say, I bet, look, here's what I think happened. The older sibling, I'm not sure if they're a male or a female, actually. So the older sibling said to Brandon here, they said, Brandon, you're going to feel differently when you have kids. And Brandon said, I'm never going to have kids. I don't want kids. And he said, the older sibling probably said, no, you will want kids in the future. I guarantee it. You definitely will want kids. And then he says, hey, why wouldn't you believe I will never want children? Right? That's the sequence I can see, because I had this as well, right? When I was younger, I'm like, I don't want kids. I don't like kids particularly. Kids annoy me. I don't mind being around kids. It's fine, but as a preference, I probably wouldn't be. Basically, somebody saying not believing he'll never. So this is what the older sibling's done. He's basically said you will want kids in the future, and he doesn't believe that he won't. Guess what? I don't have kids. I don't, and my wife doesn't want kids either. We just don't want kids, and that's okay. That's all right. I'm not expecting you to follow me in that. You can have all the kids you want. That's fine. That's up to you. But people did say, oh, no, you want kids. They just didn't believe me. No, I don't. Never do. It's just something that I don't want. And that's okay. I knew a chopper read when I was a kid. Yeah, that's a different spelling, Sabracadabra. Like I've got that a lot actually. Mark Chopper Reed, and it's Read is the way his name is spelled. So you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, yeah, I'm not interested in that right now, and that's fine. So if an adult does it, yeah, I totally agree, Squid. I agree. Replace a child with an adult, would it be considered rude? Then it's rude. But that's not rude. It's just if you don't like an adult and you just, don't say anything mean to them, don't hassle them, don't do anything, but you just wouldn't rather be in their presence, you just avoid them. That isn't rude. That's actually being polite, that you're not saying, hey, I don't like you. You suck. You make me feel bad. I hate being around you. That's rude. If you're just avoiding them, that's not rude. That's fine. And he's been sending me links on how people, yeah, absolutely, not knowing really young that they don't want children. Yeah, because you've basically, I can guarantee you that this poster has said, oh, you're going to want children. But that's not what I meant at all. He's not a child. He's 16. You're treating him like a child. I was calling out and being mean to a 4-year-old little girl just because I don't care if he will have children or not. And I don't care. Am I the asshole? You know what? I think you're the asshole, quite frankly. I think you're morally bankrupt because I know that you're telling somebody who what they should think and what they will think in the future. And we get this a lot with the theists, right? I mean, the one thing that makes me kind of upset, like usually I'm pretty cool, but when somebody starts telling me what I think and what I believe, that's going to be a problem. Like that's going to be a real problem. Oh no, you do believe that Jesus was Lord. What? For ignoring a 4-year-old. There's nothing necessarily unethical or immoral about being rude to other people. So, is this true? It depends on what your system of morality is. I think in secular humanism, it depends on what your intentionality is, what the consequence of that intention of that action is, like the being rude is, and what it achieves. Like, so what utility does it provide? So if somebody is being nasty and harming people around them by being disruptive or arrogant or some sort of problem, and you are rude in telling them, sort of this is what you're doing and it's horrible, then that might not be immoral. The utility you gain of well-being of society may outweigh the hurt feelings that they have. However, if you're being rude and sort of you're getting a bunch of people around, like, I don't know, 30 Christians and doing the Lord's Prayer and walking through the city in a gay area as an anti-LGBTQI march, then yeah, that's immoral because the well-being of those people is being affected, right? So it's all about A, the intentionality of why you're doing it, and B, what kind of harms are you doing to the well-being of society and the individual in doing that? Because if you're harming them, if you're being rude and that harms their mental health, then yeah, that's immoral. If there's no other reason than to harm them, then yeah, that's immoral. So as I always say, context is king or queen or non-gendered monarch of your choice. The context is everything. Why you are doing this and how you are doing this is everything in whether being rude is immoral or not. Yeah, I agree, Trustee Ape. If you intentionally hurt another person's feelings, without good reason, i.e. you're trying to achieve some sort of utility, I'd call that immoral. Absolutely. I 100% agree. Because what are you getting there? Oh, look, Trustee 8, there's certainly grey area. It's all grey area. Morality is mostly grey area. Absolutely. Morality is one of the most difficult subjects. I had one of the people that debated me recently, Hussein, contact me wanting me to discuss it. No, I will not discuss morality over chat, like just comments in a comment section. It is too difficult and complex a topic to discuss in a chat form. It just is. Absolutely. And we can disagree. We can disagree and we can talk about it. That's how we get to a better society. We look at these things and we say, hey, what works here? What doesn't work? We have different opinions. Which one is better? How can we show that ours is better? This is what humans have always done. We've always had that conversation and said, what is the best outcome here? Oh, hello, this one guy. Only one guy? So what does Reddit think about this? Deciding you never want children is a completely different thing, not acknowledging children in general, not the arsehole. He can decide he doesn't want kids. Okay, no, I disagree. I think he is. Definitely one day going to be the type of person that gets on a plane and complains that there are also children around. Okay, so that's something that I would say would be bad, right? If you're saying, hey, I don't really want to be around kids, you get on a plane or go to a supermarket and go, oh, there's kids around. Yeah, so that would be being a complete morally bankrupt goon. Like, seriously, you can't go to shared spaces and expect children not to be there. That's a problem. But I mean, that's a bit different than being in your own house and sort of, just deciding you don't want to hang around kids because you don't really enjoy hanging. That's a different story. I'm child free. My nephews are wonderful for short periods of time. Yeah, okay. Yeah. If a random kid smiles and waves, I'll wave back. Truly, it's not difficult. Yeah. I'm child free and don't mind kids. I just like when I can give them back. Yeah, I mean, I'm child free. I don't mind kids. You're a migrant, 18 months old in Australia, was racist. Dad was a Balkan gorilla. It wasn't easy, but I saw much stuff I should and shouldn't have seen, but it's all good. Violence doesn't beget violence. Well, violence does beget violence. It definitely isn't the answer to anything. Australia can be racist. I think it's gotten a lot better over the years, but there's still that element in there. One Nation and Pauline Hanson is still a thing. She's this horribly racist person in our Senate, in our upper house. It's still a thing, and while that's still a thing, it's still a problem. In all fairness, he is in fact a child. He's not a child. He's not. A 16-year-old isn't a child. I don't know if you should be calling a 16-year-old a child. Being child-free isn't licensed to be an arsehole. Doesn't get to be rude to children. Well, I don't think he's being rude. He's just not. Yeah, sadly, there are some racist people in Canada too. Yeah, I hear you, Randolph. It is a problem almost anywhere. And I've always noticed that the people who are racist have never traveled outside their country. They've never been to another country. They've never seen that people are generally the same everywhere. Like, you may look at, Japan and think they're totally different, their culture's totally different. And there's some differences, but people and their wants and their needs and what they're trying to do, they're generally exactly the same as us. That's the thing. Like, there's no difference there. The people in China aren't, the government may be doing things, but the people generally want the same things we do, sort of, contentment and happiness and just to be employed and have family and they just want the same things we do. Being child-free, never plan to have children, not that you're actively rude to your family members. Yeah, I know, but if he's being a typical immigrant, wants to exert dominance, I don't think he is. I just think he can't stand children. Well, I get that child-free doesn't mean, you don't hang around children at all, but if he decides to do that, and look, so here's the thing. No one has to have a relationship with another person in their family. They don't have to. I think that not engaging with his niece, I think it is his niece. I mean, that's just a relationship he won't have. If he's happy to do that, then, or if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. Oh, little cousin. Okay, it's cousin. Like, that's just a relationship that he won't have. And maybe he's okay with that. Maybe he's missing out by not having the relationship. But you can't force somebody, even a 16-year-old, to have a relationship with somebody else. Even if that child is a 4-year-old, you can't force them. I don't know why the heck the parents aren't getting involved in this. Effectively bullying. Ignoring is absolutely a form of bullying. It is not harmless. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think if a group of people ignore you, but if one person is just saying, hey, I don't really want to be around them. Wow, all right. Not the asshole for forcing it. Okay, well, I would disagree. Yeah, I've definitely seen that, Beansy. There's a mocking person called Pauline Pants Down who has done some wonderful stuff with segments taking sort of sound bites taken from her speeches and things like that. Absolutely. Is this child-free bait week or something? Well, that's the only one I've seen, but okay. I don't know. I'm going to say that sort of, not. You're sort of being an asshole for forcing him to interact with someone he doesn't want to interact with. I kind of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe the 4-year-old bullies him around. Maybe she, I must admit, I had a niece that used to laugh that I had no hair all the time, and I kind of, it's not like I said, "Oh, that's it, I hate them." It's just, yeah, it was kind of like, wow, but if you were older, that's really horrible thing to say, kind of thing. So I can kind of understand how that can happen. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, kids can be awful. Absolutely, Sabracadabra. Kids can be really bad, like really bad. Yeah. All right, let's see what the poll says. Let's see what you people think. Do you agree with me? Poster is terrible. You agree with me. You really, really like me. Yeah, absolutely, Beamsy. That's really horrible. Don't think I haven't noticed you saying that over and over. Look, I've got a pretty thick skin. I do get upset by something sometimes, you know, like things can get to you. It really can. And you know, I shaved my head because it was gonna happen anyway, and you know, embrace these things. If you're going bald, embrace it. You know, you can spend thousands on really bad, you know, treatments and hair plugs and, you know, things that people can obviously tell that you're trying so hard not to admit the inevitable, but embrace it. I'm so lost. I just re-popped back in. I'm so sorry. We're kind of wrapping up, but we're doing am I morally bankrupt? Or then we're looking at moral situations on Reddit and seeing who's right and who's wrong. If someone being immoral on Reddit, you know, you'd never think, but someone being immoral on Reddit. God loves bald people. Was that the one where the children made fun of the bald guy and then like bears came and tore him to pieces, tore the children to pieces or something? Is that the one you're talking about? Squid, is that the one? So like, you know, don't make fun of bald people or bears will come and rip you apart. Yeah, so Beamsy, you continue on the way you're going. You continue on the way you're going. Bears will rip you to pieces. They will rip you to shreds, mate. You just watch out. If you use Reddit, then it is automatically immoral. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. Oh, yeah. So that'll probably wrap them up. Yeah, specifically she bears have abracadabra, specifically female bears for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. But thank you so much for joining me. Now, what I want to talk about is I do want to have other content. I was thinking of starting a gaming channel. I don't know who would be interested in that, who wouldn't be interested in that. Do feel free to leave a comment if you would be interested in me doing gaming, and I generally tend to like strategic games, like sort of city builders and complex games like Factorio and things like that. We may be doing something with a few collab people. Yeah, I do. At the moment, I'm playing Sons of the Forest, so I do like sort of survival builders. I'm playing a bit of Factorio, and things like that. So those are usually the games that I'm usually not into the sort of first person shooters. I'm usually into stuff with systems. And at the moment, I'm playing a few. I think they're called Bullet Heavens, is the thing that they're quoted as. They're basically like Vampire Survivors, like games that I'm playing occasionally. But if you do want to see that and do want to join me for that kind of thing, leave a comment in the down the bottom, and I'll see about what I can do to set up a second channel for that kind of thing. Look, I think so. Gaming kind of winds me down, but I do. The more complex the system, the better. I love complex systems, and my brain seems to adore it for some weird reason. So I'm drawn to that kind of thing. Apart from that, I'm going to be trying to do more intros to my Royal Room Rumbles. If you've never seen them, I basically will go into a room with anywhere from 3 to 12 or 10, you know, hostile hostile theists, and rumble, basically just hold my ground and argue in a polite yet sort of you know, convincing manner. And those are fun. Those are really fun. I have a lot of fun because I usually go into Praise's room, and he's got all kinds of wacky individuals in there. Gives me a lot of content. I go into Gur's room, and Gur's just ridiculous, and I love him so much. So I get a lot of content from there. I'll go into Richard Madsen's room for the Ancient Aliens memery. You know, just great stuff. I just love going in there. But a lot of people have said they don't know what's happening up front. They don't know what the context is. So I'm going to be trying to do more sort of here is what the room is discussing. What am I trying to do? Am I trying to challenge them? Am I trying to talk about morality? Am I trying to talk about atheism? Am I trying to talk about this, that, and the other? So I want to do a bit more of that and sort of give more context to what I'm actually trying to achieve, because it looks like just random trolling, and it's not. So the wonderful Jen, who's what's her channel? Church of Entropy, once described it as sort of Socratic gang banging, and I love that term. I love that term. So I'm sort of getting Socratically gang banged, but the reversal of that to challenge theists by giving them the answers and saying, hey, you know, this is what we think and why we think it. So it's kind of street epistemology for YouTube chat rooms. I think that's such a good description. I just thought of that then. Street epistemology for YouTube chat rooms. Rumbling. So I really enjoy doing that, and I enjoy the people I meet. You know, whoever they may be, I enjoy when I meet another atheist in there. I love it. So it's great. But that is on the spot, sort of going in there whenever I see the room open. There's nothing planned about it. It is just jump in and handle whatever comes my way, which can be anything from masses of abuse to Kent Hovind's stupidity to actually really good conversations, like CJ's room, CJ Cox, his room usually has pretty decent conversations in it. So, but I want to explain the context a bit more. So thank you so much for all tuning in. If you do give a like down the bottom, it helps me so much, like really. I would really appreciate it. If you do want to see gaming or have anything to tell me, any suggestions at all, leave a comment down below. I will read it. And I really want suggestions over what you think I should do or where you think I should go. I do respect people's opinions, especially the ones that tune in and watch a lot. So if you do want me to do anything or think that I should change or think it'd be more entertaining to do this, that, or the other, do leave a comment and I'll be happy to read it. But apart from that, if you're not subscribed in, and I would love to see you again. So with that, as I always say, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other, and do have a wonderful day, night, or wherever it is in your part of the world. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye. Yep, wrong button again, because I'm a professional YouTuber.